What I try to do for the child is make sure that I work with all the people that are involved in this child's life. And I really enjoy working with their parents, who often they're trying to reunify with, many times their grandparents, their guardian ad litem, often work with residential care facilities. For example, I have one boy who's in Boys Town. I work with him. I work with the therapist at Boys Town. I've had other kids in residential facilities, and again, you try to work with everybody involved in order to help the child.
My main goal with the child is to be the person who represents them. I'm the person who does all the fact finding. I work with all of the other support team members, such as the caseworker, which there could be multiple, depending on if they're in a county other than the one you're in. They also work with the GAL, which is the guardian ad litem, and the attorney for the child, along with any schools, therapists, just the multitude of people who actually interact with them and are considered their support team. So I work with them, and I do all of that, put it all together so that I can then report it all to the judge, who then it helps in his decision-making process.
To become a CASA volunteer, you really just have to go through the training, and I think you have to have a natural desire to really want to help the children. I've found that I was a school counselor for a while, well actually for a long time, and then I retired, and there was sort of a gap in my life there with, you know, there wasn't that much that I was doing, and I had worked with children all my life, so I felt like CASA was a natural fit for me. And I enjoyed training and going through all the training and doing the work and the court, observing the court, and etc.
It doesn't take as much documentation as you might think. It's more of just putting in writing and answering some questions, talking to our volunteer coordinator, they'll do a background check, so you'll need to approve or authorize that. And just to go through a few additional steps. You will also need to be able to spend a few hours with your child every month, along with any kind of information that you need to gather.
I think the most rewarding part of being a CASA volunteer is being able to see some outcomes of what you've done in your work. Again, for example, one of my first kids was in a residential care facility, and he'd had problems with his family. They put him in a public school, and it just so happened that there was a couple in that school that took him under their wing, and they became his foster parents. And I was able to work with the foster parents. Also then, it just worked out where he went ahead and had his parental rights terminated, and they adopted him. And the last time that I was able to check with them, it has been a great situation for all the people involved in that.
Nancy and I have been CASA volunteers for over 4 years. We work together as a team, and we find that fits us very well. We also think that since many of the children that we work with come from broken homes, it's a good thing for them to see Nancy and I interact together as a couple, because they don't see that at home very often. We try to visit each child once a month. It gets a little tight sometimes, as we have 3 boys at this time, and they're each in a different facility. The only ones that have some kind of interaction with the child all the way up the ladder from the actually visiting the child to talking to the judge when we go to court. We're involved in everything that happens there. We do more that affects the child in a personal way than just hugs and brownies. For instance, we have a boy that recently got moved to another facility, and somewhere he got separated from his football and some other items that he had. He didn't have any luck getting those back until he talked to Nancy and I. Nancy fired off an email when we got home that evening, and the boy is reunited with his personal items. Doesn't seem like a big deal, a football, but to a 13-year-old boy who's stuck in a facility somewhere, it is a big deal. Sometimes we wonder, because the results of our work is not always great, but then you have a 13-year-old boy who gets to go back to his family, and he tells us that he asks us if we're going to be at his house at Christmas time, and we tell him no, that's probably just for your family. And he says, it kind of causes you to tear up when he says, no, you are my family now. You are part of my family. So we know we made a difference in that child's life. If you don't make a difference when you're on this earth, then why are you here? Nancy is the backbone of our operation and the workhorse, and so I'll turn this over to her and let her fill in the blanks a little bit.
Ted and I do work well as a team. When we go on our visits with a child, we both interact with them. When we're in our visits, one of us is paying attention to how the child is acting, and the other one is actually interacting. And once we leave from the visit, we talk about our visits, what we see. And I find it interesting, we both observe different things. Things I pick up on, he doesn't. And we talk about the changes in the child, or things that he brings forth to us. And as a team, this helps us compile our court reports because we discuss things, and it's always good to have someone to bounce things off of. I make a lot of contacts. This is one of the most important part of being a CASA volunteer. I contact the caseworker at the facility and develop a working relationship with her. And this is very beneficial to me because she'll send me emails letting me know how the child's doing at school or at the house. She'll send me copies of their report cards. She'll send me copies of maybe special therapist reports, but it just helps us to keep in line with, everybody's on the same page. And I also contact, the parent or parents if this is where the child is going home to. I think it's very important that I see where this child is going to be reunited with his parents. It helps me get a better feel from where he came from. Sometimes through visits or phone calls, I'm able to find out things that Children's Division hasn't found out, and it's very beneficial to the case. So at that time, I send an email to Children's Division, the caseworker at the facility, and the guardian ad litem. It's just important that we all share our information. On a personal note, Ted and I think it's very important to develop a relationship with the child. We try and make our visits fun. They know I'm always going to bring them cookies and brownies. Sometimes we bring them lunches, have picnics with them. If they're small children, we'll play games, do crafts. But they always know that they're going to have fun when they see us, and they smile. We have some children that, I have one little boy who calls twice a week. He wants to know when we're coming back. He has no family that's ever going to be a part of his life. He's in a facility, so we are the only contact he has. And when he tells you he loves you on the phone, it's all you can do to keep your composure. And they always look at the calendar, because when we're scheduled to go down there, they write it on the calendar, and those boys always look to see if there's somebody to come and visit them. The most rewarding thing as a CASA volunteer is just knowing that Ted and I do our best, and that we can maybe make a small difference in this child's life.
I am for the child who has been abused, the child who is afraid to go home,
who thinks it's her fault, who is forced to keep the secret or else.
I am for the child who has been neglected,
The child who does not know where his next meal is coming from.
Who must fend for herself and her little sister.
Alone.
Alone. The child who has never been to a doctor or a dentist.
I am for the child who was taken away
For her own protection.
The child who is now in foster care. Who does not know how long he'll be there.
Or who these people are. Or if she should trust them. I am for her.
the child who is in his third,
fourth, fifth,
sixth foster home this year.
The child who has attended 4 schools in 2 years.
Who sits in back of yet another class surrounded by strangers.
believing in his heart that no one
cares. I'm for her. The child who has never been told
that he is loved.
that she is smart, beautiful,
Talented.
worthy, that she is strong,
Courageous.
that she is somebody. I am for her.
The child who one day will turn 18 and will be surrendered to the world.
I am for that child.
So I am there for that child.
To listen to her,
To speak for her.
To champion without compromise for what's in his best interest.
Because if I am,
If I am there for her, I know she will be half as likely to languish in foster care, and that much more likely to find a safe, permanent home.
she is the child I am for.
He is the child I am for.
They are the children I am for. She is the child I am for.
the child I am for is him.
Who am I?
Who am I?
Who am I?
I'm a CASA volunteer.
I am you.